overnight success. So you can create it. It just doesn't happen overnight. Now, to the public, you're an overnight success because most people have not seen you before. But for you, you've prepared all of your life for this moment, sort of. My name is RayBenefield. Content creation is on my list of special interests, and today we're going to cover what it takes for you to get your own overnight success. One of my overnight success stories is a perfect maze algorithm that I incorporated into Fortnite. It's called Minotaur's Maze. Minotaur is a game with a 100% randomized maze with only one solution. The first player to reach the end and grab the sword becomes the Minotaur. Then it becomes a survival game where players must avoid the Minotaur for as long as possible in order to score placement points. Minotaur was an overnight success for me because the thing is, my skill set is technical and mechanical, and most mechanical things don't show well visually. However, the maze concept of Minotaur took off very easily, so I'm looking forward to recreating it in Unreal, Unity, Core, whatever I can get my hands on. First thing we need to cover, first impressions are super powerful, and I don't think people realize how long they actually last. The major problem here, and what makes first impressions so important, is that there's so many people, so many projects, so many things out in the world that it's very hard for somebody to justify giving you a second look. When you or your content is found, your value to them will immediately be analyzed. If this person that stumbles upon your content for the first time ever analyzes your content and then realizes that there's not enough value for them, they will mentally blacklist you. Sucks, but it's true. What this means is that subconsciously, when this person stumbles upon your name or your project name, they will assume that it's not going to provide value for them. And that could last for months. Think about a time you went over to YouTube, you watched somebody's content, you didn't like it, so anytime you saw them in the future, you just skipped it. Like the video if you've done this, because I know I have. The key to solving this first impression problem is understanding what I call your breaking point. When I refer to breaking point, what I mean is finding the target value that you need to hit in order for people to not deny that that content exists. To determine this target value, you need to consider two major things. You need to consider your competition and what they're providing to your market, as well as your market and what they're looking for value-wise in order for your content to matter to them. When you've considered both of these things, what you can do is make a solid guesstimate of how much content or what kind of content do you need to create to have this breaking point where people cannot deny you. This right here is your breaking point. Your breaking point consists of number of videos or type of videos if you're doing YouTube, or maybe it's the type of content for streaming or the way you interact with your viewers, or if you're making games, maybe it's the number of levels or the different types of equipment that you provide. Ultimately, all of this boils down to having enough content and enough value for people to care that it exists. Again, this is heavily based around what you're doing. If you're a game developer, it's about enough content to whet their appetite so they want more. If you're a streamer, it's about enough relatability so a viewer wants to spend time around you. And if you're me, it's about having enough advice videos and tip videos that I provide enough value that people don't want to let it go. The concept of reaching a breaking point is the exact reason why I haven't shared my videos on Reddit as of this recording, because I want people to show up to my channel and have enough content to whet their appetite so they realize that they want it to stick around. Without enough value to people when they first see your content, you will get mentally blacklisted. Unfortunately, the more blacklists that you're on, the harder it is to find success because there's less people that can spread your content around. Ultimately, success is about taking every single advantage and stacking the deck, or in our terms, filling a pot of luck with as many gold coins as you can find. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the video is right here. Success is a min-max game, and like every video game, learn to control every variable that comes into play. Think about it this way. The more value that you provide in your breaking point, the higher chance you have to not be blacklisted. Now let's talk about a corollary to the breaking point concept in the next video, where we talk about how advertising is related to breaking points. And in the last video, we talked about buffers, which is a very important concept if you don't want to lose momentum after triggering your breakpoint. Until then, laters.